So, in a previous lecture I have discussed the concept of gasification. Now, I thought let us go for material and heat balance in gasification. So, what I have designed for this lecture is as follows. First, I will give you how to calculate the various parameters in material and heat balance of gasification, and then I will take an example to illustrate what I have told you and how to do this thing. So, first of all, let us consider a simple gasification process. So, if we consider this is a gasifier, this is a gasifier, and here say we are supplying coal, the composition is given carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, it may have H2O, ash, this is what is given. Then air may be given, it is a dry or it may be moist. When moist air is given, then also saturation pressure of water vapor in air should also have been given. Then pressure, that is atmospheric pressure at which air is supplied, they are to be given also. Now, in the output, say you have producer gas, and I am taking a simple example where producer gas could have CO2, it could have carbon monoxide, it can have hydrogen, it can have CH4, nitrogen, and it can have H2O. Main constituents in producer gas. Then output of gasifier, it also HS. Now, HS means it is a mixture of ash plus carbon, because in the previous lecture you have seen when the coal burns, then ash is left over and it is discharged, and along with that some very fine particles of carbon are also discharged. So, that is called HS, not ash. So, HS in fact is a mixture of ash plus carbon. Then you have output also as a tar. Tar may contain carbon, sulfur, nitrogen, oxygen and hydrogen. Then another output could be soot, and this soot composition, it may contain carbon or it may contain ash. Tar may also contain ash, it depends on the problem. So, given this say the balance or given this inputs and output, now we are required to find out, for example, volume of producer gas, then the say amount of air that is required, calorific value and so on and so forth. So, in order to find out, for example, to find out let us say producer gas, then what will we do to find out producer gas produced? I mean there are various terms are here, you may call producer gas, you may call fuel gas also. All that it means simple that it is a mixture of CO plus hydrogen. So, if you want to find out the amount of producer gas, then simple, one has to do carbon balance. One has to do carbon balance, and carbon balance say you have to take into account all sources from where entering and out. So, in this particular example, say carbon from coal, that is equal to carbon in producer gas plus carbon in ashes plus carbon in tar plus carbon in soot. So, out of which the amount of soot must have been given, amount of tar is also given. Then amount of coal, well you may declare the basis of your calculation could be 1000 kg coal. You can take 1 kg coal, 1000 kg coal, whatever you like, the basis is always clear. So, in some cases, well the amount of ashes is also not given, then you have to do ash balance. ash balance. So, in this particular case, say ash from coal that goes to ash in ashes plus ash in soot plus ash in tar if it is given. Then from the amount of soot is known, amount of coal is known, amount of tar is known, and percentage of ash in ashes is known. So, by that balance you can find out the amount of ashes, and from the amount of ashes you can complete the carbon balance, and the unknown is only amount of producer gas. So, you can find out the amount of producer gas. Now, next thing that you have to find out, for example, how much amount of steam that is decomposed. So, for that find out steam decomposed. Steam decomposed, what you have to do? You have to perform hydrogen balance. You have to perform hydrogen balance. I am writing H balance because the say coal, tar or soot, they always contain elemental hydrogen, whereas gas it contains H2, it does not contain H. So, if we write down hydrogen balance, then hydrogen balance H from coal plus H from moisture of coal, H from moisture of coal plus H from steam, because you are supplying steam whose amount is given, plus do not forget to add H from moist air, because when you have the moist air, then H will also enter into the system. So, that will be equal to H in tar plus H in producer gas plus H in producer gas. Well, here what I have done by taking H in producer gas, I have taken into account H2 of producer gas as well as H2O of producer gas. So, both I am putting under the term H. If you wish, you can write down H2 in producer gas plus H in water of producer gas, that is one and the same thing. So, choice is yours. So, while performing H balance and to calculate steam decompose, you have to take note of the following. So, note the following important aspect of gasification. Say moisture of coal enters directly into producer gas, that is one important thing. Second important thing that you should note, that moisture of air, say moisture of air and steam decomposes to H2, decomposes to hydrogen and is included, and the hydrogen so produced is included in CH4 or hydrogen or other hydrocarbons if they are present. That means, if you want to calculate say water in producer gas, it follows say water in producer gas that is equal to moisture from coal, plus undecomposed steam. So, that point is important to remember. I will illustrate once again when I will solve the problem for you. Now, nitrogen balance nitrogen balance is to be done to find amount of air. Now, here one should note that if the air is dry, then it is clear 79% nitrogen and 21% is oxygen, that is clear. Now, if the air is moist, for the moist air, this composition is no longer valid. So, there you have to find, say for example, PS H2O plus PN2 plus PO2, that is equal to pressure prevailing the gasifier, pressure prevailing around the gasifier, prevailing around gasifier. It could be 740 millimeter, 745, it will be given in the problem. Now, in order to find out PSH2O, then you have to take into account the relative humidity and the saturation pressure, vapor pressure. If you multiply, you will get this particular amount. So, if you subtract this PSH2O from pressure prevailing around the gasifier, you get PN2 plus PO2. Now, this has become a dry air. So, 79% of that and 21% of that will give you the proportion of nitrogen and oxygen and H2O in there. So, that part is to be taken into care. This is about the material balance. Now, one should also note that the raw hot gas, because in the material balance you have seen on the right hand side, the right hand side contains producer gas, tar, soot and everything. I will call it to be a raw hot gas. This raw hot gas can be delivered directly into the furnace. That means, if I take for example, this is a furnace, and I put one gasifier here, this is a gasifier. What I can do, I can connect the output of the gasifier with an insulated pipe to the furnace, and I am using now the gas which is produced from the gasifier. The advantage of such is that besides using the calorific value of the producer gas, tar, soot, you will also be able to use the so called sensible heat of producer gas, sensible heat of tar and sensible heat of soot and so on. So, that is the advantage of using directly the producer gas from the gasifier to the furnace, but at the same time the producer gas is not clean. So, it may clog the nozzles through which you are supplying the producer gas into the furnace. So, the normal practice is to cool the gas to clean it. In that process we are losing the sensible heat. I will show you how much percent we are losing, and we can use the cold gas, that means its potential energy only. So, in that case we define certain efficiency. For example, we may define cold gas efficiency. And cold gas efficiency would be, say, potential energy and the potential energy is also called calorific value of producer gas divided by total heat input. Of course, you have to multiply it by 100 in order to get the percent. Now, the total heat input comprises of what? Calorific value of fuel plus sensible heat of coal if it is heated, plus sensible heat of air, plus sensible heat in steam. So, all this will correspond to total heat input. So, that is called the cold gas efficiency. Now, you see here in that cold efficiency only you are taking potential energy of the fuel. You are not taking the sensible heat of the various constituents that are present in the output of a gasifier, because you have cooled down everything. So, next we will define the hot gas efficiency and also define hot gas efficiency. Now, the hot gas efficiency will contain say potential energy of gas, potential energy, mind you potential energy is also called calorific value of gas plus tar plus soot plus sensible heat of producer gas plus soot plus tar, and if there are other outputs are also there, you divide by the total heat input. The total heat input. Of course, you have to multiply by 100 in order to get the percent. Naturally, the hot gas efficiency will be much higher than the cold gas efficiency, because you have incorporated in your calculation the sensible heat, which was not there in case of cold gas efficiency. Then we can also define the third term, that is the thermal efficiency. The thermal efficiency. And thermal efficiency, that is equal to potential energy of gas I mean the producer gas, potential energy of gas plus enthalpy of steam, enthalpy of steam in producer gas, because you know the producer gas contains water, but it is high temperature, it is in the form of the steam. So, again you divide by the total heat input, total heat input. Of course, you have to multiply by 100 to get the percentage. Normally, the cold gas efficiency lay within the range 60 to 80%. Hot gas efficiency is in the order of around 90%, because you are adding all sensible heat into your calculation. Then the losses, there will be losses also by conduction and radiation from the gasifier. It may vary from 8 to 12%, depends upon your insulation that you provided on the gasifier. Now, given all this way to solve the problem, now let me take a problem to illustrate the various concepts. Now, let us find out, say determine material and heat balance, of gasifier and calculate various efficiencies, Now, various data that I am giving over here in the form of a material balance. So, let us take, this is a sort of gasifier to which the coal is supplied, and the composition of coal: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, H2O and ash. Carbon 79.1, of course, it is on wet percent. Hydrogen 5.0%, oxygen 6.4%, it is 79.1%. Nitrogen 1.7%, H2O 1.7% and ash is 6.1%. Since I wrote that heat balance is to be needed, so I am giving, you are supplying at temperature T, that is equal to 25 degrees Celsius. I am writing the red so that you remember and you can see easily. Now, air is a moist air, air is moist, let me put air is moist air, it has relative humidity, that is equal to 80%. And the vapor pressure at saturation that is given, that is equal to 26 millimeter mercury at 25 degree Celsius and 740 millimeter pressure. That means, the pressure around the gasifier is not 760, but it is 740 millimeter. Now, here also it is given that steam, you have to blow at certain pressure. So, steam is blown in at 30.8 PSIG. You must be knowing this unit pounds per square inch gauge pressure. That means, it is gauge pressure, it is not absolute pressure. You have to add 14.7 to gauge the absolute pressure. Steam is blown in at this pressure with blast of air, that is given. Now, in the output it is given, say, gas which is forming, and its analysis, remember, is on volume percent. It has CO2, it has CO, it has CH4, it has hydrogen, it has nitrogen, it has H2O. Now, CO2 is 7%, that is 21%, 2.5%, hydrogen is 14%, nitrogen is 53%, and H2O is 2.5%, and the temperature at which it is discharged is 627 degrees Celsius, that is the temperature of its discharge. Now, ashes they are forming also, and ashes, its amount is 9 weight percent of coal, 9 weight percent of coal, that is given, and 9 weight percent of coal, that is the ashes is given, and it is discharged at temperature T, that is equal to 180 degrees Celsius. Now, it is also given the mean specific heat capacity of ashes, mean specific heat capacity of ashes is given to you, that is 0.21 kilocalorie per kg degree Celsius between 25 to 180 degrees Celsius. So, these values are all given. Now, let us proceed first of all to go for the material balance. So, first we have to take the basis, as I have said. So, the basis of our calculation, 1 kg coal, basis of our calculation is 1 kg coal. Now, to find out volume of producer gas, we have to find out volume of producer gas, because in order to do heat balance you must know the amount of all. The problem does not say what amount you have to find, the problem says do the material balance and heat balance. So, it is up to your thinking that what is required to perform the heat balance, you must know the amount, without that you cannot do. So, first amount is missing, volume of producer gas. So, volume of producer gas we have to find, and as I illustrated in the beginning. So, if we take Y kg mole as the volume of producer gas, and if we do the carbon balance, then I am simply straight away writing the carbon balance 0.791 upon 12, that will be equal to 0.07 plus 0.21 plus 0.025 into Y plus 0.09 minus 0.061, that is the carbon in ashes, and this is carbon into producer gas. So, if I solve, I will be getting Y, that is equal to 0.208 kg mole. Mind you, it is per kg of coal, or that is also equal to 4.66 meter cube per kg coal at 1 atmosphere and 273 Kelvin. So, I got now the volume of producer gas. Now, I have to find out volume of air. Find out volume of air. Now, to find out the volume of air, since remember here it is a moist air. So, let us see, let say x kg mole is the amount of air. X kg mole is the amount of air, since air is moist. So, we have to calculate the composition of air, it is not 7921. So, Pn2 plus PO2 plus PH2O, that is equal to 740 millimeter, that is given to us. Now, we can find out Pn2 plus PO2, that is equal to 740 minus 0.8 into 26, that will give you PH2O. So, with this I am getting now Pn2 plus PO2, that is equal to 719.2 of course millimeter of mercury. Now, this 719 will be divided 7921. So, I can get now Pn2 568.168 millimeter mercury, PO2 151.032 and PH2O, that is 20.800, they are all in millimeter mercury. Now, I can say now 1 kg mole of moist air, 1 kg mole of moist air will contain 0.7677 kg mole nitrogen, 0.2041 kg mole oxygen and 0.0281 kg mole H2O. Of course, this should become 1. If you round off, I am seeing that it is not becoming equal to 1. So, somewhere round off it will become equal to 1, that does not matter. So, now we can do nitrogen balance. Now, we can do nitrogen balance. So, nitrogen balance simple, N from coal plus N2 from air, N2 from air, that is equal to nitrogen in producer gas, in producer gas. So, you can do this balance and the value of x that we assumed, that is equal to 3.601 meter cube at the temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and 740 millimeter mercury. Now, we have to find out weight of steam, because that is not given in the problem. Sometimes it is given, sometimes it is not given. So, you have to find out weight of steam, and for that you have to do hydrogen balance. For that you have to perform hydrogen balance. Let us consider Z kg mole. Z kg mole is the amount of steam. So, if I do that hydrogen balance, say it is 0.05 upon 2 plus 0.017 upon 18 plus Z plus 0.00401, that is equal to 0.208, 0.025 into 2 plus 0.14 plus 0.025. So, for your orientation what I am doing, this amount is H in coal, this amount is H from moisture of coal, M stands for moisture, Z we assumed steam, and this amount is H from moist air, and this amount is H in producer gas, including moisture, or steam or H2O, whatever you like to call. If you are doing it the cold, then it is H2O, if it is hot it is a steam. So, that is what the hydrogen balance. I have written this thing so that you can orient yourself what I have done. So, all that now I have to simplify this, you can do it. So, the value of Z, that is equal to 0.015 kg mole. So, that is equal to 0.266 kg steam, of course, per kg coal. Now, we have to find out percentage H2O blown in, that was decomposed. Now, that simply mean whatever steam that decomposes, it is available to you in the form of hydrogen or CH4 and so on. So, we can do that balance, say water in producer gas or steam or moisture in producer gas, that is equal to water from evaporation of coal, and plus undecomposed steam, because that will also enter as water in the producer gas. So, if you do this balance, you can find out the amount of undecomposed steam, and the undecomposed steam here it comes, you can simply substitute the value. Undecomposed steam, that comes to be equal to 0.004255 kg mole. So, therefore, steam decomposed that will be equal to 0.266 kg minus 0.004255 into 18. So, the amount of steam decomposed, that will be equal to 0.1895. This is the kg, this is the steam decomposed. Mind you, this steam which is decomposed will be available to you in H2, CH4 and other hydrocarbons of the producer gas. So, percentage steam that is blown in, so percent steam decomposed, that will be equal to 0.1895 divided by 0.266 into 100. So, the decomposed steam is 71.2%. So, this is what the answer of this problem. Now, having done material balance, we are in a position to do heat balance. For that, we have to calculate the various values. First of all, we have to calculate, say, net calorific value. In short, I am writing NCV of producer gas. Now, the procedure of calculation I had already given in my previous lecture. The various heat of formation values are also available. So, straight away the NCV of producer gas, I can calculate the combustible component of the producer gas are carbon monoxide, CH4 and hydrogen. We know their heating values, we know their how much kg mole they are forming. So, as such NCV that will come out to be equal to 5.64 into 10 to the power 3 kilocalorie. Similarly, we can calculate now NCV of coal. I have given the formula, but well, once again I can write down NCV of coal, that will be equal to 81% carbon plus 341 percentage H minus percent O upon 8 minus 5.84 into 9% H plus M, this will be in kilocalorie per kg. So, we substitute the percent value. So, NCV of coal, that will be equal to 7566.32 kilocalorie. Then we have to find out enthalpy of water in moist air. We have to find out enthalpy of water in moist air. In moist air. So, that means we have to find out H2O liquid to H2O gas, and seeing the amount of this, the enthalpy would be 9.93 kilocalorie. This enthalpy is simply the latent heat of condensation. So, from that you can calculate. Now, we are supplying steam also. So, another input you require enthalpy of saturated steam. Enthalpy of saturated steam. For that, you have to see the steam table and the relevant values I am giving here. Our gauge pressure is 30.8 psi, that is given. Pressure surrounding the gasifier is 740 millimeter, and if you convert, it comes out to be 14.3 psi. So, the absolute pressure that is equal to 30.8 plus 14.3, that is equal to 45.1 psi. Now, it is an absolute pressure psia. Now, here some data, say enthalpy of saturated steam, enthalpy of saturated steam at 45.1 psia referred to water at 0 degree Celsius, referred to water at 0 degree Celsius, that you can find out from steam table, that is equal to 651 kilocalorie per kg. Now, say enthalpy difference, because you are supplying at 25 degree Celsius. So, enthalpy difference between water at 25 degree Celsius and at 0 degree Celsius, that is equal to 24.94 kilocalorie per kg. Therefore, enthalpy of steam referred to water at 25 degree Celsius, that is equal to 626 kilocalorie, approximately 24.95, I took 25. So, it is kilocalorie per kg. So, enthalpy of steam, now we can find out enthalpy of steam which is going into the process, 626 into 0.266 So, enthalpy of steam that is equal to 166 kilocalorie. We have to calculate now enthalpy of water vapor in hot gas. Enthalpy of water vapor in hot gas, that is at 627 degrees Celsius and the temperature is 900 Kelvin. So, you know the procedure. So, that enthalpy will come out to be 81.64 kilocalorie. Now, one has to calculate also sensible heat in dry producer gas. Sensible heat in dry producer gas. Dry I am writing because water I already find out. So, now I do not need to find out the enthalpy content of H2O of producer gas. So, the sensible heat, the values I am H 900 minus H 298 for CO2, for CO, for CH4, for hydrogen and for nitrogen. So, this value is 6708, 4400, 7522, 4224, 4358. These values are all in now kilocalorie per kg mole. So, now all that you have to multiply by the kg mole of the respective component of the producer gas. So, if you do that, then the sensible heat in dry producer gas, that comes out to be equal to 932.75 kilocalorie. So, now we are in a position to make the heat balance. Now, this I am putting say approximate 932.8. So, let us perform now the heat balance and try to calculate the various efficiency. So, first of all heat input. So, heat input I have calorific value CV stands for calorific value of coal, that is equal to 7566.32, that is in kilocalorie. Then sensible heat in coal, sensible heat in coal plus air. In this problem it is not there, it is 0.00. Then enthalpy of water vapor, enthalpy of water vapor in air. In air, that we have calculated 9.93 kilocalorie, and enthalpy of steam, enthalpy of steam, that we have calculated 166.00 kilocalorie. So, that makes total 7742.25 kilocalorie is our heat input. Now, let us take a balance of heat output. So, heat output now, heat output that comprises of first of all calorific value of dry producer gas, calorific value of dry producer gas. Mind you, we can also call it to be potential energy, because now this energy will be available to you by combustion. So, we are writing dry producer gas because when you cool down the gas and clean it, then only calorific value will be available. So, that is in our calculation 5640 kilocalorie. Then sensible heat of dry producer gas. Sensible heat of dry producer gas that we have calculated 932.8 kilocalorie. Now, enthalpy of water vapor. Enthalpy of water vapor. Now, when we say water vapor, we are talking in hot producer gas. In hot producer gas, that will be equal to, we have calculated 81.6 kilocalorie. So, if we sum total it and subtract from the heat input, then the rest we term as the heat losses. Here I am ignoring the sensible heat inertia because of very small amount. So, the heat losses by subtraction, that comes out to be equal to 1087.85 kilocalorie. Now, I can determine the efficiency. For example, let me determine first of all cold gas efficiency. Cold gas efficiency, that is equal to 5640 upon total heat input, that is 7742. If you multiply by 100, well, of course, you can put 0.25, that is not very significant. So, that will be equal to 72.85%. That is how the efficiency of the producer can be calculated. Now, next efficiency that we have to calculate is say hot gas efficiency. Hot gas efficiency, that will be equal to 6653.6. You have to add sensible heat, calorific value of dry producer gas, sensible heat, everything you have to add and divide by again heat input 7742.25. Of course, you have to multiply by 100. So, that becomes equal to 85.9%. Now, it is also interesting to calculate the so called thermal efficiency. Also interesting to calculate thermal efficiency of the producer gas, and this thermal efficiency, that is equal to 5721.6 divided by 7742.25 into 100. So, this thermal efficiency becomes 73.9%. Now, you will also be interested the losses. The heat losses is 1087, and if you divide 1087 by 7742, then you will be getting say approximately around 10 to 15% as the heat losses. Now, you can say that these heat losses will principally occur by conduction, radiation, and there could be other losses in such say high temperature operation. 9 to 10 or 12% heat losses is quite normal. So, this particular problem illustrates the material and heat balance in gasification, and with this the additional topic which I have begun, the gasification, that rather ends over here. Now, the title of the next lecture will be additional topic 3, and there I will be discussing industrial furnaces.